Well, good morning, East Coast. Good afternoon, Italy. Good, very early morning, West Coast. We are starting exactly a few minutes early just to get people caught up. I have very important conversation specifically for dealer groups today. When I talk about a dealer group, I'm going to be talking about auto dealers who have multiple stores with multiple brands. And it becomes even more important if your dealer group is in a central location where maybe the family brand name has been around a long time. My good friend Kevin Fry works for the Weiler Automotive Group, and they have a cluster of stores. And there's a number of the Jake Sweeney Automotive Group, Sarah Sweeney, friend of mine, Apple Automotive Group in York, Morgan Auto Group in Florida, the Mergado Auto Group, growing, Florida, New Jersey, Chicago. There's a lot of automotive groups that I want to speak to today about some observations, some changes. Also want to talk to the companies who are developing software for auto dealers, because I think there is a shift coming, and that, well, it's just my opinion, but sometimes my spidey senses are tingling because something is going to be happening sooner than later. I've been right many times in the past. If you're joining me on the live stream, would you say hello? I always like to see who is joining. Now, this video recording will stay online. It will be on Facebook and LinkedIn and YouTube and Periscope, Twitter for the next few days. So, if you enjoy this conversation, you can share a link with someone either from LinkedIn or my Facebook business page. Michael Rose calling from in the West Coast. Anthony, Flex2 Solutions, welcome to the live stream. Michael Rose, have you been drinking any good California cabs lately? Hellman, Jason Monahan, great. Jim Jensen, Jim N. I'd like to get some feedback from Jim Jensen. Okay, and Punk J, or Pan J, I'm not really sure how to pronounce that, but good morning, everyone. Nissan Car Guy, come on. Let's jump into the conversation. In order for this conversation to have relevance to the widest group of people, whether you're calling in or observing, calling in, I feel like a talk show. If you're watching, Robert August, welcome. Bern Mueller, welcome from Germany. Yes, so since we have some international guests here, I want to talk about dealer groups, the showdown with OEM technology, and I also want to talk to my friends in the software development industry because I see some things changing. So let's step back for a moment. Over the years, there's been a consolidation in what we would call online website technology. At one time in the United States, there was probably 30 website platforms that had anywhere from 20, 30, 40, 100 dealers. Over time, those platforms have collapsed. There have been many boutique producers of trade tools, payment calculator tools, boutique producers of lease special landing page, boutique producers of tools that would help people find the affordability of their car. Good morning, Chuck. There have also been some major players that have dominated, say, trade-in forms and finance forms, DealerTrack, KBB, Edmunds, and such. But there's been a massive shift in what websites are supposed to do with what we call digital retailing. And the only thing I want to say is that dealers have been doing digital retailing for years, but I'm talking about putting actual tools on the websites to allow a consumer to actually transact. Now, let me just say that the number of consumers in the United States who are transacting online compared to the number of people who are coming in the store is still relatively small. Over 90% of all car sales are still transacting in the showroom. But what has happened during COVID is that I think more than ever, the OEMs have realized that with the right tools, consumers could be more encouraged to purchase cars online. We've seen a massive marketing on specialty cars. So, for example, my Corvette C8, I bought completely, I ordered the whole thing online, and the local dealer, helped with a couple questions. But it wasn't the local dealer who won my business. We saw the Ford Bronco sell out in its initial production. We saw the Hummer sell out in its initial production. Then we saw GM announce, now here's the pivot now, that Tekion will be the platform they use for their EV digital retailing. We saw that Nissan picked a single company to develop their Nissan at Home technology. I just wrote about this yesterday, and it kind of spurred this. We saw Chrysler now coming out with their e-shop technology. And for years, we've known that GM has shop, click, drive. Now, here's my concern. It looks like each OEM is going to be digging in the ground and picking a digital retailing platform that's exclusive to their brand. Okay, so GM has shop, click, drive. Chrysler now is pushing this e-shop technology. Now, why am I somewhat concerned? Well, let me set the stage. For the last 2 years, there's been a tremendous investments in building digital retailing tools. You have Roadster, you have Gubagoo, you have CarNow, you have WebBuy, you have Prodigy. I mean, I can keep on going. Cox Digital Retailing. At one time, CDK had their storefront technology. You have Dealer Inspire with Online Shopper. There's a lot of tools on the market now. AutoFi. We just saw our friend Kerry Weiss move over to AutoFi. But Chrysler recently has now been encouraging, pushing, incentivizing their dealers to cancel their digital retailing providers, whether it's Cox or Gubagoo or CarNow or AutoFi or whatever, and start using their eShop platform. Now, let me think about this. A parallel story would be Toyota. Toyota told its dealers, hey, we're building SmartPath, which we believe is going to be our digital retailing platform. But Toyota was pretty transparent. They said, hey, dealers, in the meantime, sign up for Roadster, sign up for Gubagoo, sign up for CarNow, sign up for AutoFi, whatever platform. And they had to approve Prodigy software. And of course, there's Modal and other platforms. I can keep on going down the list. But Toyota said, go ahead and try these tools. And they really wanted dealers to get experience with being more transparent online, getting the prices right online, being compliant online. But the ultimate end path would be that Toyota will start advertising their SmartPath technology. Now, whether Toyota's still on that trajectory, but basically it's like, hey, it will be easier for dealers to remove their current digital retailing platform and put in SmartPath once they're familiar with it, once they're comfortable with it, once their website has that functionality. So what I heard this week is that Chrysler, which had a certified digital retailing platform list of providers, and remember, these software developers spend hundreds of thousands of dollars to make sure data feeds are right, incentive feeds are right, rebates are right. They spend hundreds, if not thousands of hours working with the OEM to make sure everything is compliant. They participate in road shows. They have to share revenue with the middleman. So imagine waking up and then just them saying, oh, by the way, dealers, yeah, I know we recommended these 3 or 4 products, but we really want you to cancel, like literally send the field people are going out and saying, cancel these tools and you should now be using our eShop. What if this becomes the standard? What if when someone comes to a local dealer's website and finds a car that they want, the continue or buy now or reserve this car leaves the dealer's website and goes to a central website, right? We already know what that looks like, right? Go to any GM dealer with Shop Click Drive. What are the implications for that? Well, the implications are pretty darn clear. To me, it means that dealers who want to embrace a single process for a consumer to buy a car and in the dealer group, it's not going to be possible unless you rethink your marketing. You see, if I'm a dealer group and I have a BMW store and a Honda store and a Toyota store and a GM store and a Chrysler store, and every time somebody comes to one of my websites in the local community and they click, buy now, reserve now, or customize your payments, it leaves the dealer's websites to a national e-commerce site. Don't the dealers just kind of become affiliate marketers? You know that once they leave your dealership website, you can't track conversion. And if we do what we should do is simplify the shopping process, we will have less buttons on our websites, which means consumers won't be filling out forms on your website. They'll be leaving your website and filling out forms, and God forbid, you as the dealer would ask for any of that real-time tracking information to see how your marketing is working. What is the strategy for dealer groups? Here's what I'm going to suggest. I think dealer groups really have to rethink and lean in on a group site strategy with a single retailing tool. Now, of course, this does not work totally well in a cost-effective way for dealers who have stores all over the country, unless you're a big group like Lithia or AutoNation or Asbury or Group 1. But let's talk about the dealer groups first in a local market. We used to say the group site isn't really that important because, well, politics. Hey, Brian, our group, each general manager is kind of like their own independent operator. Of course, they follow our standards, but they're rewarded based on their net and their profits. And so we let them kind of do their own thing. And then what happens is every store in the group has a different digital retailing tool and a different website design and 4 or 5 trade tools on the website. Okay, it's a mess. But what if a dealer group started to realize, wow, it looks like each manufacturer is going to force a unique online experience for their brand. And yet I'm trying to say, come to the Weiler group, or come to the Jake Sweeney group, or come to the Apple Automotive group, or come to the Pohanka Auto group for an amazing car buying experience. It will be like Joseph's Technicolor Dreamcoat, a patchwork quilt of different buying experiences if the continued direction I think the OEM's taking are really happening. And think about, and someone said, Michael Warwick, pay attention to what Volvo said the dealer's role will be in EV sales. Michael, if you could summarize that, please put a note. Here's my point. Group sites have been kind of a half-assed implementation. Now, some dealer groups realize that running pay-per-click used car advertising to each individual site in a small, tight group, like, hey, all our stores are in Cincinnati, or all our stores are in the Delmarva Peninsula, and every store is spending on used car advertising, and you were just competing with each other. Many smart dealer groups decide to run their used car advertising pay-per-click campaigns to their group site. Now, there's always politics there because one general manager feels another store is getting more clicks and blah, blah, blah. Okay, aside from politics, and now we talk about survival, if we can put politics aside for a moment, dealer groups who want to have a unified buying experience and go into market is like at Weiler, we make it easy to buy your next car. Do most of the work online and we'll get you in and out within 45 minutes, or the Bohanka group or the Morgado group or the Morgan group. They're not going to be able to do it on their individual websites. That's what it looks like is going to happen. What they're going to have to do is say, I want to be like a true e-commerce retailer. I'm going to build my own portal, my own main site. I'm going to put a digital retailing tool that I believe is the best for our culture. And I'm going to start moving more transactional marketing to that site. And there's always issues with co-op, but get over your co-op addiction. Get over it. You're totally getting screwed if you have to send traffic to your own website, which then takes people off your website to another website to transact. First of all, the co-op dollars are your money anyway, so it's kind of a funny thing. But I really think that dealer groups have to smell the coffee and wake up and say, hey, if we have 12 stores in this market or 20 stores in this market, or if we have 50 going to 100 over across a few states, I think it's time to up your game with your branding. Here's the reason why. Not only do we know that consumers want an experience when they buy a car, but you're going to have to figure out how to make your marketing more efficient, because if the path that I see is happening and the manufacturers are going to dictate their own tools and most likely taking the consumer off the dealer website, what's your marketing ROI? Now, Facebook and Google are doing some interesting things. For example, Facebook has AIA to Marketplace where you can advertise new and used cars. Facebook has their own mini BDPs. You keep the consumer experience on Facebook. But at this point, there's no digital retailing tools. You could say, well, folks like CarNow and Gubagoo, who are messaging companies and digital retailing companies, can actually push through Messenger digital retailing tools. And the answer is yes, but not all digital retailing companies can do that. What I'm saying is Google's working with inventory in Spot Zero on SERP pages, again, to keep consumers inside their ecosystem so they have better tracking, better ROI. But what I'm concerned about is dealers not being aware, they're not seeing the writing on the wall. If for the last 2 years, a handful of companies been spending hundreds of thousands of dollars to develop digital retailing software for an OEM, and then the next morning they wake up and it's like, hey, we're getting cancellation notices because the Chrysler field team is telling people to cancel and go with their tool. That could happen one day with Toyota with SmartPath. It could happen with Nissan. I have to look up what Mike Warwick's talking about for the EV dealers. And then think about this. Tekion doesn't have a digital retailing product, yet they were chosen by GM to be the digital retailing platform for GM's EVs. Meaning, hello, what's the writing on the wall? Let's see. Hyundai had a relatively open program for many digital retailing. One day, digital retailing companies woke up and said, oh, we've limited the choices to Tekion, Dealer.com, and Roadster. Oh, but what about all the hundreds of thousands of dollars of development I did? Sorry, you're out. Wow, what a great bond of trust the OEMs have with their digital partners. If I was in software development, I'd be scared. Because the people who are building trade tools, payment calculator tools, digital retailing tools, looks like the writing on the wall If you don't get picked as the platform provider or white labeled provider, in the case of Nissan, they just white labeled another platform, obviously through customization as well. You're out. You're out. And it's going to get very interesting. Are retailers going to be service and delivery points? I'm not sure what Mike Warwick was referring to, but what if GM said all EV sales are going to happen on this digital retailing portal built by Tekion? Yeah, you can show the car is in stock, but when they hit buy now, reserve now, it's going to go to the Tekion portal where they'll be able to configure. I'd be worried about website providers. This is a wake-up call. What is truly a dealer website? For the most part, a dealer website has been a patchwork quilt of content to game the Google search engines, to get some credibility, to show up in local search, to have a place for people to look at cars. But what if that was completely controlled by the OEM? Now, you say, Brian, it's not going to happen that way. Well, wake up, go look in Europe. There are many OEMs in Europe. Listen, you can still have your franchise model, but your franchise model doesn't have to mean you have your own website that you control and can do whatever you want with. You can go to Europe and take a look at OEM websites where the dealer is basically a subdomain or a subdirectory off the national site. You have very little control. Yeah, dealers could have their own secondary site, and groups do in Europe. But here's my point. What if all the digital retailing tools were mandated in one place? Well, if the digital retailing tools as we know it today are effectively mini websites, yeah, they don't have service pages, they don't have review pages, but what they have is every car and penny perfect payment calculations. I'm just talking future now. California and Florida just, I think, approved e-signatures for motor vehicles, or Florida's coming very soon. EV is a great lever for the OEM to own the whole experience. Here's my question. Dealer groups, think about this. Now, what if you're just a single point store? If you're a single point store and you are realistic, unless you're the number one single point store in the country, you have hardly much leverage at all. You have to suck up whatever the OEM tells you to do. If you have a dealer group and you really want to have a differentiated brand experience, I think it's time to reframe the future of automotive retailing, rebuild a powerful group site experience, create one single online buying experience for your group site, be as transparent as you wish, and market that brand experience, and stop looking at the group site as an orphan or a bonus, because what looks like is the future is the digital retailing tools may be controlled by a very few people, and that could be your OEM. It could be, since Tekion has OEM investors, it could be that the OEM investors will just get behind Tekion's platform, which means DMS, website, digital retailing, lane inspection tools. I think a lot of software pieces get blown up in the future. That's why I'm concerned. Because if we don't have a plan, if we don't see the future coming, then your multi-million-dollar brand experience, I mean, there's tremendous leverage when you have that the OEMs can have when there's no real control that you have on the sales experience. If it's, drive people to another website, and let's just say that we know that I haven't seen an OEM website digital retailing experience that was any good yet. Haven't seen one. Other than Tesla's experience. I went into the store with my son. It was an amazing experience, but Shop Clip Drive has been an utmost failure. I mean, now I know they're working on redoing the whole thing, and I'm sure GM's going to do a good job and make a second attempt. Tekion is the dark horse coming out of the blue, and with no platform experience, nothing that we know, building software from scratch. Maybe that's the future. I don't know. But I'm worried about dealer groups. If you're not careful, you're going to have 10 websites in your 10 store group. Every buy now or configure now or get my payment button is going to be taking people off your website. You're going to be thinking like, gee, where are all my conversions? Where's my sales funnel? Where's my behavioral targeting based on what people are doing on my website? Yeah, it's time to dig in. Heather said, FCA just sent us an email yesterday promoting the switch to their DR tool powered by Carzato, which is not as good as what we currently use, in my opinion, and would create a different online experience between our Ford and GM stores. Heather, so that's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. So Heather, could you answer me a question? I'm still doing my research because obviously your comments are confirming exactly what I heard from the field. This new DR tool, is it centralized? Will it take a consumer off the dealer's website and go to a central thing? Now, let me just bring up something here. I'm going to go to Chrysler eShop. I think that's the easiest way to, yeah. Okay, and let me just share my screen for a minute. Share screen. Let's share a window. Chrome tab. Here it is. Okay. All right. So let me go back here. And what is that? Okay, there is the eShop software. Bringing the dealership to you. Doesn't that sound like a consumer direct model to you? Huh. Now, my question here is, as we start the buying process, obviously we can let's start the buying process. Let's see what it looks like. Okay, so please enter your zip code. Okay, I'll do that, 33496. Okay, and here we go. eShop, boom, how it works. And I'm gonna just go shopping, start the buying process. Okay, I'm waiting. Try that again. Here it is. Now let's get started. Yeah, here's the first thing. Let's pop up that lead form. Can't not have that lead. No. Okay. So I get rid of that. And of course, this had, look at that. It picked Schumacher. Interesting. Of course, remember, Schumacher has no visibility into any of the actions that are going here on the website. And dealer groups have hundreds of used cars, Chris is saying. They have to let folks transact on those as well. And doesn't glorified lead forms. Well, yeah. Here's my point. Depending on how the manufacturers implement digital retailing, if they're now we're only seeing, I see what you're saying. We're only seeing, because it popped up another frame. Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay. But the point is, depending on how the manufacturers implement digital retailing now, as Heather mentioned, the Chrysler store is going to have one experience. The Ford store is going to have another experience. BMW store is going to have, you with me? And what are you going to do on marketing saying, hey, buy a car from the Pash Automotive Group? It's like a spaghetti mess of buying, but eventually you'll figure it out. Or just go to pashautos.com. We have the fastest and easiest, simplest way to buy your next car, new or used. And our online checkout process is the best in the business. You get the idea. I think dealer groups have to wake up and say, what is my local blue sky strategy here? Is it developing a rock solid brand and processes that maximize my profitability? And yes, the OEMs have the upper hand. And yes, they may want me to use this tool, but I'm going to also have my other tools. Now, eventually, if the OEMs wanted to crush the spirit of dealer groups, they will only feed their incentives and rebates through official partners that will promise the dealer that they will not use this information on anything other than, OEM approved website and not a dealer site. I mean, there's always a way in which to crush the spirit of an entrepreneur. All I'm saying is that the announcement, and Heather's confirmed, and I have other people confirm it, is that Chrysler's sending out notifications to the companies that they cajoled and come in, develop our software, help our dealers with digital retailing. And now it's like, hey, your worthfulness, your usefulness is no longer needed. Behind the scenes, we've been developing something with Carzato. And now every dealer has to use Carzato because that's where we'll put the incentive, and that's where we'll put rebates, and that's where we'll put our bonus and everything money, and we'll just squeeze the hell and get our will out of the franchise dealers. The future is pretty clear that consumer direct marketing, consumer direct websites, consumer direct transactions controlled by the OEM is happening. Now, I understand there's reasons why, and it's typically the bottom 25% of all the franchise dealers have maybe horrible sales processes, outdated sales processes, bait and switch process. The bottom 25% kind of screws up the whole thing. And so the manufacturers say, well, we want to have the best, simplest, easiest way to buy a car. And the only way to do that is if we control the whole thing. Let me say that again. The OEMs are sitting in their offices and saying, we want to be the first manufacturer to say we're the fastest and easiest way to buy your next car online. The only way we're going to do it is if we control the buying experience. The dealer can deliver the car and service the car, but we're going to control the experience. It's going to vary. It does a lot to competitive marketing. And this is why this dealer group website concept has to be rethought. Somebody said, dealer group's great advantage to the consumer is choice, right? Your brand should differentiate itself no matter what. I think I can even show this comment there. Yes, there we go. And this is just a LinkedIn user, an anonymous LinkedIn user. So it's extremely important for everyone watching today. This announcement from Chrysler now seems to be another in the pattern. Nissan chose a single platform for Nissan at home. Chrysler is now pushing their new platform. Toyota has been very transparent since day one about SmartPath, and that's their future. GM with Shop, Click, and Drive, and obviously GM EV going exclusively through the Tekion digital retailing platform, which doesn't really exist, but I'm sure it's going to be beautiful. So dealer groups really have to have a strategy. Now, I've worked with dealer groups, helping them optimize their marketing, their measurement. We're going to be talking about a great example at the Digital Marketing Strategies Conference in Napa about the power of unified measurement across all websites in a dealer group. I don't care if you have 3 different website providers. There's something powerful in having unified tracking across all your websites with very detailed events, which allows you to see which buttons work best to get consumers engaged, which tools are working the best to get consumers to convert and consider your brand. And that's why dealer groups have to really rethink marketing and measurement, design, and defining a single digital retailing experience for their group. Now, we're going to be talking about this at the Digital Marketing Strategies Conference in July. Now, if you haven't had a chance to register, let me just put in the link here in the stream, okay? I want to encourage you to get registered. That's the link. Get registered for the Digital Marketing Strategies Conference. Now, who can attend? Only employees of dealerships, right? So dealer principals, general managers, marketing managers, sales managers. Our goal this year is to talk about breakthroughs and dealer groups that have had tremendous breakthroughs in marketing success, branding success, digital retailing. If you come early, we have 4 certification workshops, bonus workshops that are going to be on Sunday morning. The conference starts 3 o'clock on Sunday afternoon, goes all day Monday and Tuesday. So it's in the beautiful Napa Valley. If you enjoyed this conversation and my insights, I want to invite dealer group owners and managers out. I want to take some time to share with you some specific strategies. I'm actively consulting with some dealer groups right now to completely transform their local marketing strategy in light of what is clear that the OEMs are going to be doing more consumer direct marketing, and the transactional tools will not be in the dealer's control on their franchise approved websites. This creates tremendous havoc in marketing. It's going to cause a lot of companies to go out of business, meaning software development companies that have built tools for dealership websites, companies that are offering payment calculators or shop by payment or trade-in tools or finance and incentives and lease promos. I think a lot of that goes away. I really do. And it's not pretty because there's a lot of great companies out there. But the OEMs have a mindset, and that they want the best experience, a unified experience across all their franchise dealers. And I think they're making it very clear the direction that they're going. So if you work at a dealership and you want the absolute best insights to improve your marketing strategy, prepare for the future, have some breakthroughs in how we can reach consumers in a cookieless world, in an iOS 14 updated, privacy controlled world, you got to get out to DMSC. Now, it's limited to 100 dealership managers plus our sponsors, and the agenda is amazing. Just go to the website, check out the agenda. If you want me to email you a PDF, let me just put my email address there. I can email you a PDF of the whole conference if you'd like. It's to show around your team, pick workshops, plan. Also, our sponsors have some dealer passes. So if you're a big customer of one of our sponsors, you may want to call them today or tomorrow. Those tickets are limited, and you can save some money there. But regardless, the value that you're going to get in Napa is going to be amazing. So the change in Chrysler just triggered my thoughts. My heart goes out to all the digital retailing companies that are getting cancellation notices because you were kind of suckered into supporting digital retailing transformation and just got thrown out the door. But this could be the path that other OEMs are taking. So this is a very dangerous time, and it puts a lot of livelihoods at risk, especially if all the transactional tools are going to be moving off the dealer's website into a central hub. Thank you, Bern. And I want to just encourage everyone to collaborate. Keep your eyes out for these announcements and changes, but be prepared. Protect your multi-million-dollar investment, especially dealer groups. This was today's topic. To really reconsider what it means to have a true e-commerce group website, how to market it, how to promote it, how to create a simple brand promise. My brother Glenn runs a great 60-day consultancy program for digital retailing transformation. You may want to look into that. It's only $2,500. It's an amazing value. But shoot me an email if you want to come out to Napa. If you're a dealership manager, marketing manager, dealer principal, and you really want to stay ahead of these changes in not only just OEM changes, digital retailing, but all the privacy changes, marketing changes, measurement changes. And one last thing, I've just been seeing it so much. So many dealers are putting this Cap One button on their VDPs, which brings up the Capital One digital retailing tool. Right now, Capital One shows no data, no events. It's a black hole. When someone clicks that Capital One button and does anything in that tool, we have no conversion measurements. And what dealers aren't realizing is, I saw a GM dealer the other day that had the Shop Click Drive button, the Capital One button, and the Web Buy button on one VDP, 3 digital retailing tools. And guess what? The Shop Click Drive, 0 visibility. The Capital One, 0 visibility. The Web Buy, 100% visibility because they throw events on everything a consumer is doing. The dealer really wasn't aware that by putting those other 2 choices, all their marketing conversion metrics get thrown out the window. Do you understand? If you can't see if someone submits a lead, if you can't see what they're doing on this tool, what are you going to do for your marketing optimization? What feedback loop are you going to be giving Google Ads to get better or Facebook to get better? You are putting big black hole trapdoors on your website, not even thinking about it. But if you had a great group site and you directed people to the appropriate vehicle inventory and you gave them choice, and you use the digital retailing tool that supports deep Google Analytics events, you'd actually be more like an e-commerce retailer that looks at everything that's going on their website, measures which campaigns are getting the most engagement, getting most people into the shopping mode, and then using that data to create better marketing strategies. Today, dealers are putting so many tools on their website with no accountability, and now more and more are taking people off the dealer's website. The future isn't pretty unless you prepare for it. And dealers are entrepreneurs, but in this particular case, they are not technology specialists. We have to have a plan. So let's collaborate, come out to DMSC. Let's do this. I hope you found this conversation helpful. And please, you have my email address. If you get any other updates of the manufacturers you're representing confidentially, you can forward me any information that you see is concerning. I don't call people out and say where I source my information, but I'd love to hear from the field, Nissan dealers, what you think of the Nissan at Home digital retailing platform, what you think of this new Chrysler eShop platform, what are you thinking about Shop Click Drive? I'd love to get as much feedback as possible so I can bring it to the conference in July and share your feedback. All right, everyone, thank you so much. It's almost lunchtime in Florida, so I'm getting hungry. Time to get something to eat before my next call. Wish everyone a great day, and please send me a note if you appreciated today's conversation. Thanks.